Hello Suzanne, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are all having an awesome day so far. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Diana and I am a Canadian expat living and working in Berlin, Germany for the last 3 years. And on my channel, I talk about my thoughts on the German culture, my experiences living in Germany, and I also share tips and advice with you so that you can move to Germany to live and work if that is something that you are interested in. So if you are, make sure to stick around because this channel is full of tips for you that will get you to Germany. But for today's video, I want to talk about some of the fears that you may have when it comes to moving to Germany. I got a lot of questions and a lot of comments from you all across my different social platforms about your fears or insecurities that you have about the thought of moving to Germany and some of those fears that are holding you back. So I wanted to share with you more openly what these fears are and what you can do to also eliminate these fears so that you can actually move here much quicker. I'm very passionate about this because I want to give you all the tools necessary in order for you to actually start living your life abroad. And if Germany is a place that you want to live in, then hopefully I can help you along your journey as well. But like I said, I do get a lot of messages from many of you who are thinking about moving here, but you have a lot of doubts or a lot of insecurities about this. And maybe you'll hear your own thoughts or your own scenarios that you tell yourself in the ones that I'm about to share right now. So one of the common fears that I see a lot of you experience with your own journey of moving abroad is fear of the unknown. And some of you may have experienced this throughout different stages of your life, whether it be you are going to a new school and you're really worried about it because you've never been there, or you are starting to date a new person and you're scared as to whether or not the relationship is going to work out. Fear of the unknown really trickles its way into different stages of our life, and it's also very, very obvious or very much there when it comes to wanting to move to Germany. I talk to a lot of you who say, you know what, I'm really interested in moving to Germany. I find the culture super fascinating. I've been there before and I love the idea of living there and I really want to try it out, but I'm really scared because I don't know whether or not it's going to go well. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, if I'm gonna like living in Germany, if I'm gonna like the city, if I'm going to be able to integrate myself into the culture. As you can see, there's a lot of different layers of this and a lot of different fears that come up, and myself included, I had a lot of these fears moving abroad and moving to Germany. And especially if you've never lived anywhere outside of your hometown or your home country, this can be very, very daunting, and it can often be very paralyzing in a way where you don't actually end up taking any action and you don't actually go about taking the steps to pursue living in Germany because you get so scared of the unknown and whether or not it's ultimately going to be the right decision. So maybe a lot of you are experiencing this right now, and I do want to let you know that this type of fear is very, very common. The second fear that I hear a lot about is fear of failing. Moving abroad is a really scary process in a way because you are forced to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You are forced to integrate into a new culture, and you are ultimately leaving behind all of your friends and family and all of the surroundings back home that you have grown up with. And it's very scary because you don't actually know whether or not it's going to pan out the way that you want. And fear of failure is something super common. And this also ties in with fear of being judged for failing. As humans, we like to sometimes think of the worst case scenarios before we even think of the positive things that we can achieve. And failure seems to be one of those things that people just tend to gravitate towards and like to overthink. You know, failure as to whether or not you're going to be able to learn German, failure if you are actually going to be able to get a visa or find a job or actually meet any friends, or if you're actually going to hate the place and have to move back home. These are all very common fears that are associated with failure that I hear over and over and over again. I myself also had fears all about this because when I accepted my job in Germany, I immediately thought to myself, oh my God, what if I don't like my colleagues? What if I don't like my job? What if the location of my job is in a really shitty area in Berlin and I absolutely hate it? I had no idea what to expect, so naturally my mind just gravitated to the worst case scenario. But I managed to get myself out of that negative mindset, and I started to see it as an opportunity to grow and to just, you know, gain new experiences. And that's sort of the mentality that I've had throughout my whole time here. I am here on an adventure. That's the way I like to see it. Every single day I'm learning something new. I'm learning about myself, about the German culture, about the surroundings that I'm in. And when you have that shift in your mindset, it just makes things a lot easier to deal with, and you're going to be able to deal with all of the new things that come your way with living abroad. So I really, again, want to stress how common it is to have this type of fear, but not to let it stop you from actually pursuing your goal of moving to Germany. And the last fear that I wanted to talk about is fear of not being prepared enough and that you don't have the necessary information to actually take the steps towards moving to Germany and working in Germany. I see this time and time again. I've spoken to many of you who have this fear. I get messages from many of you who have this fear, and the internet is a beautiful place. I love it. I'm so grateful for it because this is how I get to communicate with all of you. There's so many amazing videos that you can watch from people living in Germany. There's so many articles, blog posts, and you can really get a sense of what it's like to live here. But what I find is that many of you get stuck in this research phase where you then suffer from information overload. It becomes super overwhelming. You don't know where to focus your attention on, what the right steps are for you, and what you should actually be doing in order to get that much closer towards living here. Because with all of the resources that are available, you can technically spend days and days watching and consuming content and then just not doing anything about it or actually using the information. And I see this just time and time again. And if you are feeling overwhelmed right now with all of the info, all of the videos out there, and you don't know exactly how it pertains to your situation and what you can use the info for, again, it's a very common thing that you will go through during your process of moving to Germany. So if you've been watching any of my recent videos and you've taken a look at the description below, you would have noticed that I am now offering one-on-one coaching calls, and these are private calls where you and I can actually talk about your own situation when it comes to moving to Germany, and I can help you along your journey. I'm very, very excited about this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and a lot of you have requested this type of service, so I'm excited to finally be able to offer it to all of you. I want to help you throughout your journey of moving here. I want you to be able to take the necessary steps to move here, and I'm so excited to be able to actually provide you with the guidance and the tips and the advice that you'll need to take in order to move and work here in Germany. So I will leave the links below where you can learn more about the coaching services and where you can actually book a call. So over on the website, you'll get a full summary of what the call entails and what you can expect. But just to give you a brief summary, This call is specifically for you. I want you to be able to use this time in order to get more clarity and more actionable steps that you can use towards moving to Germany. So if you want to have your questions answered about what it's like to work here, how you can find a job here, what types of visas you'll need, or you just want to learn more about the German culture, for instance, making friends here, what it's like to work in a German office, whatever you have in mind, we can talk about that, and I would be so happy to answer those questions for you and give you my perspective and advice. Also, if you have any doubts or you do have these fears like the ones that I've just mentioned, we can talk about that. If you don't have anybody in your life right now who has moved abroad or who lives in Germany, I know how lonely the whole process can feel. So if you want to talk to me about it and you want to get my perspective and my tips on how I overcame a lot of these fears and how you can do so as well, again, I'll be so happy to talk to you about that. And then of course, I want to provide you with a more actionable plan. I want you to have that clarity and not just go on that hamster wheel of information overload or fear that is actually keeping you from moving here. So we can talk about a step-by-step plan that you need to take in order to actually get here if you just feel super overwhelmed with the steps that you need to take. So that is a little quick, brief summary on what you can expect during the call. But again, more details will be linked down below. And of course, there will be a link to a calendar where you can book your session. But I'm super excited to talk to many, many more of you. I've had the pleasure of talking to a lot of you already and hearing your stories and just helping you through your own journey. So I'm excited to just get to know a lot of you better and to be able to, again, just help you get here and help you push those boundaries and eliminate any of those fears that you are having when it comes to moving to Germany, because it's completely changed my life and I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm super passionate about helping you if you are interested in moving here, and I can't wait to hear all about what you have planned for your time here. So that's it for today's video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it helpful. And I'm super excited to talk to many of you who are interested in moving here. Again, make sure to check out the description down below for more info, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Tschüss!